But Scott has been gracious enough to share a couple of live performances with us of his originals. And the first one he's going to do is his latest single. It's called Pullin Weeds. So tell us the story behind this song, how it came to be.
Yeah, I was up in Nashville. We wrote this about 3 years ago, and that particular day, my buddy Adam Wheeler was stuck in traffic and running real late for the write that day. It took him about 45 minutes to get to Music Row. So the other guy, me, Ben Roberts, and we just kind of hung outside the publishing house. It was a beautiful day. We stood out in the parking lot and caught up on life, And catching up on life that day meant that he was telling me that he was just a few weeks out of rehab. Trying to save his family and save his life, and he told me the whole wild, crazy story about all of it and how he went in, how they kind of intervened and got him into rehab, and he's been clean and sober almost 3 years now, by the way.
Wow,
but
awesome.
So he tells me this whole story, and then Adam pulls up, and we pretty much walk in the publishing house and go straight to work. Adam has no idea what Ben and I had been talking about. None.
Wow.
Matter of fact, he didn't know the story till after we wrote the song, like months later. And he says, "Man, I got this idea called Pullin Weeds." And it's not, when you hear the song, you'll know it's not all Ben's story, but Ben's story found its way in there, particularly in the second verse and particularly in the bridge. And then when I started playing this song out live, when the full mix, actually the full band version of it came out a year ago, July 14th. And the one that just came out is the acoustic version. But when that came out and I started playing it out, I just started to really realize, I knew what the song was about the day we wrote it, but sometimes you start playing it out and you realize how much it is your everyday life. Like all these things that I spend so much time and energy on that I'm trying not to spend as much time and energy on, negativity and things that just drain your energy, and you try to get your priorities in order. So it's been great for me mental health wise for me. And I'm one of the writers on it,
And it's great too to hear like the longer the shelf life is of a song too, as a consumer, as a listener. I'm not a writer at all, but as a listener, I imagine that the song over time can take on a different perspective, a different meaning based on your experiences in performing the song for other people and hearing their reactions to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that's always the testament to a great song, in my opinion, when you can reach more people and hear things within the song that you yourself wrote that you didn't know existed at the time you wrote it.
Right.
It's such a cool feeling, I imagine.
There's some magic in songwriting.
Absolutely, and man, it's just such an honor to be able to discuss that magic here on the internet with amazing songwriters like yourself, Scott. But we're so excited to share this song with y'all. I'm gonna make sure not only are you guys gonna get to hear this live version of it, but the newest single, Pullin Weeds, you have an acoustic version of it out as well that you just released. So I'm going to make sure there's a link to that in the description below for everybody out there to check out. Because there are two different versions of this song out there, and you guys should definitely check them both out. But here is Pullin Weeds, first time ever live on the Boston Chris podcast. Y'all check it out.
Good morning, Boston Chris Show. Or afternoon, whatever time it is when you see this. I'm Scott Sean White. This is my song Pullin Weeds. The acoustic version came out last Friday. But it ain't about gardening. Talk radio, talk around my way. Says the world's gone to hell, think I'm done with him. Cell phone ringing in my kid's ball game. Hold the side button down till I see the light fade. I'm pulling weeds, one at a time. Anything that chokes the light out of who I wanna be. Gonna plant new seeds. But first things first, get my hands down in this dirt. before the roots get too deep. I'm pulling weeds, getting mad about things that don't matter that much, carrying around that heavy old grudge, worrying about what other people think. Yeah, it's all gotta go so my heart can breathe. I'm pulling weeds, one at a time. Anything that shows some light out of who I wanna be, gonna plant new seeds. But first things first, get my hands out in this dirt before the roots get too deep. I'm pulling weeds. Goodbye fear, goodbye doubt, and things I can't do a thing about. Goodbye guilt, goodbye shame. It's time I make a little space and say hello to grace. I'm pulling weeds, one at a time. Anything that shows the light out of who I wanna be, gonna plant new seeds. But first things first, get my hands out in this dirt before the roots get too deep. I'm pulling weeds, I'm